Virgo, Virgo rising, and Virgo moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting July 17th, 2017. And yes, we're doing something a little bit differently this week. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that whenever I get new cards, I like to display those cards a bit more prominently for a week just to kind of let people know what I'm working with. So it's just for this week. Okay, some folks are like, please go back to the old way. I'm not changing the old way. I'm just doing this temporarily. Don't worry. We'll be going back to the old way here, soon enough. Or a better way. I haven't decided yet. Another quick announcement for everybody. I'm not going to be able to do readings this week of any kind, whether they be appointments or they be video files. I'm actually going to be out of town between the 17th and the 21st/22nd. It's overnight. So I'm not going to be available to do any readings. If you do decide to order video files, they will be put in a queue, and I will be taking care of those in the order they are received upon my return, again, 22nd/23rd. And if you are interested in doing that, that's fabulous. That's great. Don't forget, remember, for those of you looking for appointments, it's a self-schedule system, so you don't even need to email me. The availability is all right on the calendar on my website, integrativemysticism.com. And don't forget, the Tarot Home Study course is also available now for a purchase and download for $35 at that website, integrativemysticism.com, where it's over 3 hours of instructional footage plus supplemental documents taken from my book, all about spreads, interpretation sheets, all kinds of fun stuff, helping you learn to read the tarot on your own time, at your own pace, in your own space. So if you're interested in doing that, you can do so. All right? So what's going on with your astrology this week? Well, Virgo, this week for the most part is actually very, very relaxed. Monday and Tuesday tend to have the highest highs and some of the lowest lows, but after that, everything is really, really chill. So we just got to get to Wednesday. On Monday, we do have probably our most weird or toughest kind of energy. We've got Venus, planet of harmony and popularity, in your 10th house of career, forming a tense square to Neptune, currently in your 7th house of partnerships and your closest one-on-one relationships. And usually when we see Venus and Neptune get into a square, we see an opportunity that's compromised, or an opportunity or a prospect that is somehow tainted. And we want to be very, very careful with how we are actually handling this. And this may be surrounding a new work opportunity that comes up this week. This might not have anything to do, this probably won't have anything to do with anything prior. It looks like this is coming up this week, fresh, brand new. And this could be around either a new business partner, a new roommate situation, something where there is some kind of financial arrangement or financial relationship between the two of you. Now, the thing is, it's not really saying anything about the two of you so much as it is talking about the opportunity, again, or the prospect being tainted in some way, which means y'all don't really want anything to do with it. So if this person is insistent on going down this road and burning their hand on the stove, let them do it, but I don't think that you need to go ahead and follow suit. Also on that day, we've got Mars, planet of action and energy, forming a tense square to Uranus between your 11th house of friendships and social networking and your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. And a financial debate, or possibly even a fight erupting over confusion having to do with some intimate chemistry, may actually come up between you and a friend. This does feel a bit more financial, but again, I'm not going to throw the other part of the 8th house, the intimacy side of it, off the table. And what is erupting, it seems, is somebody taking a choice way too personally, making it about them, whether we're accepting or denying, doing or not doing. And it kind of feels a bit like a conflict with no resolution. Now, a conflict with no resolution is not a conflict we need to have. And this is a week where we want to make sure that we don't necessarily just have the fight, because there are no winners here. And we don't even really need to have this argument, especially not on this day. If it does need to get talked out, let's just do it on a day when Mars and Uranus aren't in a square. How about that? After the 20th sounds good. So, on Tuesday, however, we do have way better. We got way, way, way better. We've got Venus in that 10th house of career, forming a gorgeous connection to Jupiter in your earned income sector, and we've got you having a big surprise on something paying off big. For you, this could actually be an additional reward. Remember, when Venus is in our 10th house, we're kind of being given some popularity treatment, some celebrity kind of treatment, and I am feeling like there is going to be sort of a big turnaround when it comes to work prospects, some money that you thought was coming through, something you thought you were getting paid for, or you were making, it's unpredictably possibly larger than you expected you were going to get, or even were told you were going to get. So there's something very nice, some kind of very nice financial gift coming your way, Virgo, so enjoy it. So what's going on with your cards then this week? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Ten of Swords upright. So we have a harsh end to a harsh situation. Okay, and remember, I'm just showing off the cards. This is the Llewellyn Tarot deck, by the way. And this is the Druid Animal Oracle. I'm going to be doing reviews of those on my other channel. So the Ten of Swords. Sorry to break the tension there. The Ten of Swords, as far as this is concerned, this is an abrupt alteration, abrupt change of course that comes from a harsh punctuation to a controversy or to maybe a problem that you've already been battling at work. Now, of course, as you guys know, I do tend to draw more cards when it comes to this kind of thing because, good Lord, we do, it's kind of a mess, when we get the Ten of Swords. We don't necessarily want to just leave it at that. So this is what's ending, and this is how it affects you. Okay, so as far as what it is, we've got the Death card. Okay, so there's a natural end. So this is an abrupt end or an abrupt about pace on an ending. This is something that you already see coming, but it looks like the Ten of Swords is making it happen sooner. Whether this is somebody quitting their job, somebody getting fired, somebody getting out of your way. This could even be you deciding to quit. You decide to put in your 2 weeks, and the reason is with the Page of Cups upright, we've got an invitation that you're already taking. We've already got somebody going at. This makes you feel good. Okay, the Page of Cups talks about compliments, rewards, awards. This could be a situation where people are retracting negative statements. This is a situation where it looks like people are actually suddenly taking your side. Somebody may get punished over the way they've been treating you, but also at the same time, with the Page of Cups upright, something very nice is turning around for you here, and people may be actually reaching out or suddenly coming around to your way of thinking. And again, we've got good news on Tuesday about money as well, so it looks to me like it's a harsh end to a harsh situation that comes out with a lot of treasure for you in some fashion. Don't you like having to sift through good and bad at the same time? Life. It turns out great, though. If you need that simplification, there you go. For your communications with air, we do have the Four of Wands reversed. Also a very, very nice card as far as friends and family are concerned. Something's getting set up for you or alongside you. There's something, it's almost like being built. When I look at the Four of Wands reversed, I often think of, sort of a metaphorical dream house or dream landscape being created for you by a friend or by a relative in this situation. And the Four of Wands reversed says there may be an invitation to go take part in this construction, this creation, or to actually go and be a part of some kind of, I guess you could say, celebration that's not quite in the works yet. This could actually be a very good opportunity as well to bond or rebond with either a social group that we've lost touch with, or possibly even reconnect with a crush or a love interest through bonding over this creation experience, over this excursion. So again, all in all, so far, a wonderful week. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Be careful about overspending, or, whether it comes to your overspending with money, overspending with time, or overestimating what's available. The Ten of Pentacles reversed isn't talking about loss. It's not talking about a situation where, things are going down the drain. But with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, what can often happen is that we may overcommit resources that won't be there when the time comes to actually shell those resources out. All right, so whether it's, agreeing to spend or commit certain amounts of money, certain amounts of time, certain amounts of effort and energy, man hours, all of those things, the Ten of Pentacles reversed is saying, maybe we don't want to be overly generous with that this week. This might not actually be the week for that. because again, we may not necessarily have it available or be available ourselves. And whatever gets committed this week may not necessarily actually demand your attention or your prompt participation in this regard until it's the worst possible time. So be careful about that. Other than that, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, not necessarily a bad challenge in the least. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Knight of Swords reversed. And, you know, with the Knight of Swords reversed, it does look to me like there is going to be a situation where somebody is really opening up to you, but they're opening up to you in the most aggressive way possible. This could be a romantic partner. This could be one of your kids or somebody that you're dating. Usually with the Knight of Swords reversed, we do have sort of what I would call an angry breakdown. You know, it's sad, but it's also angry at the same time. It's sadness coming out in the form of anger. And with the Knight of Swords reversed, this can often show up where a person doesn't know how to vocalize or verbalize what's really going on, or they're afraid to say it out loud, and so that's what's making it so intense. Usually with the Knight of Swords reversed for single people, honestly, I mean, considering everything I just said, it doesn't sound like this person's ready to necessarily get, you know, to start dating in a serious way, at least not this week. But the Knight of Swords reversed is saying the best thing that we can do here to help this person is help this person become okay with speaking the truth out loud. You know, sometimes when you get the sword people reversed, in a lot of cases, those of you who are taking the course or taking the classes know what I'm talking about here, you get a situation where a person is basically afraid to make something real by speaking it out loud. And if this is a situation with your crush or with your partner, you've got to be encouraging with them to make it a reality so that they can actually face reality properly. Other than that, with the Knight of Swords reversed, my other big piece of advice here is this is a breakdown. This is not personal. This is not a personal attack against you. Do not let yourself absorb this energy or become this energy this week. And if this person needs space, give them that space. You know, give them that space. This is not, you know, because sometimes the Knight of Swords reversed wants us to do the dance with them. They want us to get upset with them. They want us to freak out with them. But then who's going to help actually take care of things? Who's going to, you know, who's going to hold down the fort? Just keep that in mind. For your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Goose. All right. The Goose is all about making sure that we pay attention to what's good for the few needs to be good for the many, and what's good for the many needs to be good for the few. Okay? This is talking about equalizing. You know, we've all heard that phrase, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Well, at the same time, it's, you know, it's very true when it comes to any kind of group work, collaborative work that we have going on here. You know, whether it's a situation where it's a good collaboration, we're participating in, you know, in building something up with our friends, you know, getting a new, I guess you could say a new foundation to live on, platform to live on, something to enjoy, or it's a bad thing. You know, like this Knight of Swords reversed, where a person is really, really having a tough go of it. You know, this is basically saying, paying attention to, okay, if we're looking at for what's good for the many is good for the few, what's good for the few is good for the many, then we have to pay attention to where certain elements of needing to be strong in spite of it. You know, where somebody's got to be the strong person. Okay, the strong gander is strong for is strong for the goose, and that's good for both of them. A strong goose is good for the gander, and that's good for both of them. So we need to be able to know where to overcompensate, not only for other people's weaknesses, but also to pay attention to the unit as a whole, the health of a unit as a whole. And, you know, sometimes that means identifying X factors and looking at somebody honestly and being like, as it is right now, as the situation is right now, as the energy is right now, as we're behaving right now, this is or is not good for the greater good. And you've got to be able to call it that way. Because you may be finding that there are a lot of things going on with this card that are basically telling you, hey, you know what? This is actually better off than we thought. Or it could be saying, no, it's not better off than we thought, and we've got to pay attention to the greater good and you at the same time. Not make everyone have to choose greater good versus lesser good, or fewer good is probably a better way to phrase it. Okay? So I hope that made sense. And that's your horoscope for this week. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And, of course, if you ever want to get a session with me or download the home study course, you can go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. homestedudy.com.